We've had this slide once before, and it was the slide that changed Brian QLA Rose's life when he connected the dots. And he's a very bright MIT engineer, arguably the best engineering school on the planet. And now his documentary about me is coming out in 2-3 weeks' time or whatever. It'll be interesting to see what he has to say about me, Brian. Which he filmed here about a year ago. I don't know if it's taken him a year to put it together or a year to figure out something nice to say about me. I'm not sure what it is. It's not really important. But heretofore, as I said earlier today, you've had all this information, all the podcasts, all the books, all the seminars, all the other stuff. But nobody showed you how to connect the dots. I already said that you've learned how to use 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of the financial instruments in the world. But you don't know how to put them together, so now you're going to be able to lead them like an orchestra leader, a conductor. But there's only 3 parts to the formula. Motivated seller of the businesses, free cash flow has to cover debt service. Free cash flow, unencumbered cash flow, unlevered cash flow that you can burn in a fireplace has to cover debt service. That's it. There is no more. And you don't use private equity. You don't use equity of any sort whatsoever. So the pundits will tell you, the naysayers, the CPAs of the world will tell you, well, Mr. Peña, the debt sword has 2 edges. Low interest rates is good because it's free money. You can get it. But high interest rates, then what? Well, high interest rates, you're paying back the debt with cheaper money. I know that's a little bit above most of the people in the audience. I'm not going to explain it. If you want to explain, ask our resident CPA back in the corner there. But with inflation, money's cheaper. You're paying back with lesser dollars. And this isn't a present value course. When I first started to give this seminar back in '93, it was like an MBA thing. Present value of money, SWOT analysis. That was bullshit. And even the hardcore isn't a SWOT analysis type class, but it's different. But just as, not a plug, because we give the hardcore quite by accident, actually. A year ago, Easter, it was Easter Sunday, and somebody said, it's Easter Sunday today. I said, no shit, yeah, Easter Sunday. Okay, so what? That means we went to Good Friday, right? How come nobody mentioned Good Friday to me? And so they all laugh. And then so I said, I wonder if I gave a class on Christmas if anybody'd come. Within 72 hours, I was inundated with requests. So we developed the hardcore. And that's why we have a hardcore. We're going to have a hardcore this Christmas. But we cover 32 business classes. We cover 32 cases that you would get in a 2-year MBA in 9 days. So what do you do for an MBA? How many MBAs do we have in the room? Yeah, okay. So what do you do the rest of the 2 years? If you can do 30 classes, were you case study MBA? Okay. So what do you do the rest of the year? 2 years. My son's got an MBA, and I remember him coming to me on a Thursday. He says, Dad, could you take a look at these 4 cases, kind of thing. And as I recall, I looked at him, and I said, when do you have to turn him in? He says, on Tuesday, I think. It was a quarter. He was on a quarter system, I think it was. So I finished him up, and on Saturday I sent him to him, and he says, he thought I had you kids do the analysis. Anyway, make a long story short, I did the analysis in about 10, 12 hours for 4 cases. That's a quarter's work. I know the kids college to fuck around, and sex, drugs, and rock and roll, blah, 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 blah. I don't know what the fuck you did the rest of the quarter. I really don't. Okay. So we do an MBA in basically 9 days. But getting back to our 3 elements: motivated seller, free unencumbered cash flow, covers debt service, period. And people will ask, well, what's the most important part of that equation? And I will have Doc Joe explain to you: motivated seller. All the rest is bullshit. The best motivated seller is, he just had a stroke and he's paralyzed this side of his body, except for his right hand where he can sign. And his wife is spitting up blood from emphysema, has got 4 or 5 months to live. That's a perfect, like from heaven.
You own or finance that for me.
Okay, now that sounds harsh, doesn't it? But that's the perfect seller. Perfect seller. And then you just have to find him, and it's a numbers game, which I believe Frank already illustrated. And Josh, if he were here, he would tell you. And it's a numbers game. Smile and dial. You don't even have to smile. I mean, you don't even have to dial now. Now they got computer software that, when I ran a boiler room, which is now called a call center, I ran a boiler room in the early 70s when I was going to graduate school. We had 250 kids out there. And even then, I made them wear blazers. Now that I think of it, blazers, tie, white shirt, slacks. And I used to say, what hand do you wipe your ass with? Now, this was 1971. They'd say right or left, and then I'd take the phone and I would take masking tape and tape the phone to their hand. Now just think about this, sweet pea. I tape the fucking phone to your hand. And I used to sit in a chair elevated about this high above the salesmen, the smilers and dialers. And if I didn't see the glistening of the light off that fucking masking tape up to your fucking ear, I'm on you like stink on shit. You know that movie, The Arrow? You know the guy's like this? I'm on you. What are you doing, you stupid cunt? How come you're not talking to anybody? Now just imagine today. And why did I tape it to the hand you wiped your ass with? Because you couldn't take the tape off unless you asked my permission. We sold more shit. We could have sold anything. Iced Eskimos. We didn't give a fuck. Now, I had a 94.6% closing ratio. My sales staff had to have at least 50%. You had to sell 1 of 2 motherfuckers that you talk to every time on the phone. I didn't give a shit if you got a migraine. I don't give a fuck if you got your period. I don't give a fuck if your mother just died. You had to sell 1 out of 2, bitch, or I fired your ass. And even though nobody talks like this anymore, that's what they think. And as a Hall of Famer, double Harvard degree guy on that board would say, Dan only dares to say Dan only says what we dare to think. But if you think anybody thinks any different, you're fucking morons. And the big guys, although they're trying to paint their legacy now, because, they want the future to look kindly on. I don't give a fuck how they will look on me up based on my results, not based on what I was nice to all the sweet peas in here. That's why the Ruskies love me. They don't even think I'm harsh in Russia, which I find amusing. He's just one of the guys. I went to Lenin's bathhouse, which is now a restaurant. All kind of great shit that you would say ugly shit now. Great shit used to go on in that fucking bathhouse. Ooh, the stories are unbelievable. But it's now a restaurant, or at least it was 20 years ago, in Moscow. And I went there instead of going to the Bolshoi Ballet. I had ringside seats at the Bolshoi Ballet. Fuck the ballet. Fuck those skinny bitches prancing around on their fucking toes. I want to go, where the action is. So we went to this restaurant. Oh, God. I had a hangover the next day, I wanted to die. And so they have little glasses like this, and I thought it was water. At breakfast, I'm at the Metropole Hotel, and I go, oh, fuck, I'm thirsty beyond belief. I go, it's vodka. And then, of course, 2 or 3 of those goblets of vodka, my hangover was gone. Like fucking magic. Like magic. And the Ruskies wanted to see what I do. I tried to act as brave as I could. The first one, I wasn't expecting it. Oh, he's okay. So I'm sobered up by 11 o'clock, and we're off to some more meetings. It was all right. I've got a deal right now in the Ukraine. And if you're listening, you don't sound too Ruski to me. I mean, they're harder core than you, most of you, but they're not like the old Moscow Ruskis. But there's a place for that. And where you live is not the place. I'm not recommending that you do that. And now that I hardly drink anymore, I'm a fine one to talk. Now I'm more interested in the wasted calories that I get from alcohol than I am the effect of the alcohol. Okay, boiler room. If you show the commitment and show the determination by treating yourself like I did the kids in the boiler room, you'll make $1 zillion and you'll do your dream team, etc., in a matter of weeks. You have to have the discipline to make the calls. When both of my children in between, when my daughter was in undergraduate school at Boston University, and my son was in between graduate and undergraduate school, I said, be the first in and the last out. You're first in the building and the last to leave the building. You'll be the more successful person in the building. Simple, even if you're mediocre. First in the building, not in your office, in the building. And the last to leave the building, except for the security guards and the people that are picking up the trash, 100% success ratio. And if you make 300 calls a day, I don't care what the fuck you're selling. 300 calls a day, I don't give a fuck if you're selling peanuts. And my youngest son, Derek, he did that. And and both of my children, I was concerned that they weren't going to go on to graduate school. You don't have to go to school at all, but I wanted them to go to graduate school. Because they were doing so well in their jobs in between. But they both went on. Okay, I'm not going to ask you what hand you wipe your bottom with. But in the 90s, we used to tape the shit to your hand, just as a drill. I'd love to tape it to your hand, though. It'd be a thing of you. What are you looking around for? You got a mouse on your shoulder or something? Okay. Any questions so far? We'll leave you to do your homework tonight. There you are. And you know how to get it through the computer. You have that on the instructions on the pieces of paper that you've had. You've got a lot of homework tonight. Plus, you're going to have a movie to see. Plus, we eat indoors. No, we eat in the castle today, don't we? Yeah, castle today. 2 nights you eat in the pavilion. Any question? Who's my 5 o'clock today? Who's my 6 o'clock? Who's my 7 o'clock? Okay. I guess drinks are 8 o'clock and dinner's at 8:30 again. Okay, same dress. Any questions about anything? Yes, sir.
By when we need to give this homework? And
Tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, I will collect it.
Okay.
So have a fucking copy. I will collect. Yes, sir.
On the shortness of life, are we supposed to do anything with this?
No, we're just going to talk about that one. We're going to talk about that. Brother to brother, we'll talk about it. Brother to brother.
And then this one, this is just the read for tonight?
No, you write something.
Okay.
You write on everything except the shortness of life. And you write about the movie. Tonight you write about the movie. I mean, this is, this isn't a walk in the park. And since we tightened the screws, results are better. They were better. They're better. When I told Josh at dinner the other night that we have homework, we had homework when we were, written homework like in class. And if I don't like it, I throw you out, or if I don't like it, anything else? Okay, well, I will see. My first is 6 then, right? I'll see you tonight. And YouTube, thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow.